Do you want to strengthen your gluteus medius? Maybe you're trying something like a clam or a bridge. This video will break down the 3 best exercises for your gluteus medius. Welcome back to the channel, guys. Dr. Arash Maksudi.
Dr. Michael Lau.
And today we're going to be talking about the gluteus medius. Now, before we start, if you've been enjoying our videos, make sure to like and subscribe down below. Now let's get to it. Exercise number 1 for the gluteus medius today is going to be a clam with a little different twist than you're probably used to. Now, usually people perform clams in this hip flex position, just like this. Not necessarily bad, but a recent study showed that if you bring your hips into more of a neutral position and bring one leg up into hip internal rotation, where you see Mike's foot is elevated higher than his knee, that's hip internal rotation. And then he goes from hip IR, or internal rotation, to external rotation, and he's going to have to go through a little bit of abduction at the same time. This was shown to have the highest EMG activity of the gluteus medius. Now, if you want to make this exercise a little more difficult, what you can do is put a resistance band around your knees and do the exact same thing, where you bring one leg up, internal rotation. This internally rotated position allows you to go through more range of motion when you perform an external rotation exercise like this clam. So we found to have this better bias the glute med compared to the TFL, and better activation overall of the gluteus medius compared to other clam variations. Exercise number 2 is going to be a single leg squat with a band around the knees. Now, Mike is performing this. What you can even do, Mike, is if you bring the back leg a little further back when you're doing the squat, you'll go into more of a trunk lean position. And so because he's going to have to lean more forward when he brings that back leg back, it's going to get more of the glutes, versus if he brought the back leg a little more forward, his trunk is going to be more upright. So bringing the back leg back a little bit, going into a squat position, and when he's going into a squat position, he's really spreading that band as much as he can. You can see that the band is going to tension. Yeah, and that back leg is working, yes, but really the goal is to make sure that stable leg, that right leg for Mike here, is making sure that it does not collapse in, it pulls out and keeps him strong and stable. And his trunk is leaning over that leg. He's not leaning away or towards that side. So Mike did a good job here, and you should feel a burn after a few reps of this exercise. If you don't necessarily need a band with this variation. You can try it with just a single leg squat. But let's take you to exercise number 3, which is the ultimate glute med exercise. The ultimate glute med exercise. Here we go. So Mike is going to begin in a side plank position, and he's going to perform hip abduction on the top leg, slowly come back, and repeat back and forth. And Mike, you can rest up here. Let me talk about this exercise. So Bourne et al. In 2011 found that this exercise was the first and the second best for the glute med. The first for the bottom hip, the second for the top hip. So you're actually working both gluteus medius muscles here. So make sure to perform on both sides. You can also perform this isotonically or isometrically, where you're just holding this position. This is very, very challenging. And if you really can't do this, you can have your feet together. But Mike and I were just talking, just like this. Mike and I were just talking right before this, and we love the modified version of this exercise. This allows people to really feel their hip muscles working, and there's so many different variations that you can do with this. You want to make sure to get full hip extension here. You can go through hip abduction with the top leg as well, and both of us have found to really, and you can go through even more range of motion when you do something like this. So many different variations of this. This can be a whole YouTube video in itself. But those were the 3 exercises that we love, the third one being what was shown in that Bourne et al. Study in 2011 to be the first and the second best in terms of EMG activity. Now, if you guys want to read more about glute med, we have a full-on article about this. Check it out up here. And if you want to just, in general, strengthen, help improve mobility of your hip, we have a full-on hip prehab program, which takes you through all the protocols that we take our patients and clients through. We'll also link that up here. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. And until next Tuesday. Thank you guys for tuning in. Dr. Arash Maksudi here. If you guys learned something, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And also, if you guys want to watch another prehab episode, click this button here. We may go over things like the shoulder, or the hip, or the knee, even maybe